This is Nisma Ameer with another episode of our amazing program Meet the CEO, जिसका मकसद है पाकिस्तान के कामयाब तरीन CEOs को डिस्कवर करना और आपसे मिलवाना, so that you can learn from their success and the struggles behind their journey. Today we're going to meet Mr. Amir Wain, CEO of i2c. Hello sir, welcome to our show. It's a pleasure that you're here with us today. And to start off our conversation, tell us something more about yourself. कहाँ से आपने शुरुआत की, अपने प्रोफेशनल करियर की, अपनी जर्नी की, हमें बताएं.
मेरा शुरू, I guess, I watched my father start from scratch.
Okay.
And build a decent business based on hard work, honesty, integrity, and focus on customer. So those were some of those things that I initially saw and learned from my dad. Early on, I went to the US to do my computer science and engineering.
Okay.
And then I came back to Pakistan just on a holiday to meet my parents. I had started a consulting business in the US with a friend of mine to do software development. So I wanted to spend a couple of months here and then go back to the US. So I met someone, वो Pakistan Tobacco Company एक यहाँ पे है, उसके वो HR के head थे.
अच्छा.
So he said कि अच्छा बेटा, can you come and sort of talk to our senior management about computers and so on. So I put together a little computer appreciation program designed for senior management. So it wasn't technical but more conceptual. कि computers क्या हैं, how can you use them, उनका benefits क्या हैं. उसके बाद वो उन्होंने कहा okay, so where do we get these computers from? So I had a computer that I had brought for my family that I was using for this training. So उस वक्त IBM XT एक उनका model था. This is an old floppy drive days. So we said, okay, well, I can try to see how to get you these computers, and I had an entrepreneurial spirit in me. So I then went on a trip to Far East. I went to Japan, Korea, Taiwan, and teamed up with certain people and started importing computers that we basically started supplying to the companies I was training.
And this is when Innovative came into being?
This is the start of Innovative, 1987.
Yeah.
This is the start of Innovative. This is how Innovative basically kind of got started. I had no intentions, but everything just led one thing to another. Spreadsheets में आप एक static data का analysis तो कर सकते हैं, लेकिन historical data is more difficult, like inventory management or इस किस्म की applications हैं which are more suitable for a database. So now these guys wanted, well, how about our inventory system, how about our accounting system? So we said, okay, then we started doing custom software development for these people.
तो जब आपने Innovative को आप setup कर रहे थे और clients को deal कर रहे थे, तो given कि पाकिस्तान में computers, as you said, was a mystery, तो क्या-क्या challenges थे जो आपने उस time face किए, and then how were you able to deal with them?
I would put them in two different buckets. I would call one of them challenges related to the environment. And then the second set of bucket would be challenges related to scaling a business.
Yeah.
Especially a business that did not have a whole lot of capital. So from an environment point of view, I think Pakistan की environment में वाकफियत और
contacts, network,
और उसके अलावा थोड़ा आपने किसी से चेक भी निकलवाना है तो पैसे और ये वो. So one thing I had learned and I've always lived by is integrity. So बहुत खून जो ना जलाया है, just fighting the system, fighting the system. But I think that's what makes you more resilient and successful too. There were so many opportunities where the temptation is very high that you want to move on and you want to get things done.
Yeah.
But if there's one thing I would say, you know, there's some things just pay up. you don't do cost benefit analysis.
Compromise
There is no cost benefit analysis. So integrity was one of them. So there were challenges for someone who's honest, who doesn't have contacts, or even if establishes one, doesn't want to use them to really scale the business. But I think the new nature of our business and just the sheer benefit to the customer, and there are good people around also in private businesses. So we were able to grow. Second thing I think was more around even standardization. अगर आपने business scale करना ना तो आप business cards बनवा रहे हैं वो हर दफ़ा different color के आ जाएंगे. I mean, to a normal eye they won't be bothered. But if you're very meticulous, these things matter. You buy paper for the printer, they won't be of the same size, and I mean it's just little things, the whole infrastructure.
Moving on to i2c, which is basically it basically provides payment solutions mainly to the banking sector, और global presence भी है काफ़ी मुल्कों में इसकी. तो उस लिहाज से tell us your motivation about how this entire venture started off और क्या-क्या services हैं जो i2c provide करता है.
Innovative got into this ATM driving software product.
Okay. Sahi.
Software product में ये है कि you sell someone a license and then many of them will sign up for maintenance.
Sahi.
So you get 10-15% of maintenance.
Okay.
And while that business was growing, it had its own challenges. क्योंकि अगर आपका सॉफ्टवेयर एक किसी और की लोकेशन पे चल रहा है तो जिस हार्डवेयर पे चल रहा है जहाँ वहाँ पे क्या प्रॉब्लम्स हैं, उनकी मेंटेनेंस वो सही कर रहे हैं नहीं कर रहे. So the overall customer service gets impacted by things which are outside your control. And every year you have to start with 0 sales, right?
Okay.
So we wanted to then go further, right? These are all things which were very successful. So the point here is sometimes to be truly successful, you have to cannibalize or just eliminate what got you to that successful point.
Yeah.
So that's when in 2001 we launched the first software as a service business, which is a subscription business.
Okay.
And that was aimed at the US market. Okay. And that's where i2c was founded. So we formed this global platform. Think of this as Lego pieces.
Okay.
So our clients can then put those Lego pieces together to create a consumer experience. i2c is what we call a B2B business, business to business. So we will sell to a bank or a fintech.
Yeah.
And then that bank or fintech would define their product, their user experience, and take that product to the consumer. So while we service the consumers, it is through our clients.
How many countries? Because then you won't be able to list them.
No. It's pretty much everywhere.
It's all over the place.
All over
That's amazing.
It is truly global.
So then how do you guys manage the standardization of the service being provided globally?
This is a great question because scale, it's very important to standardize. But then you also have to localize, right?
Definitely.
So the further you push out the localization in the process, have everything standard till the final delivery layer. That is how you manage a scalable global infrastructure.
Okay.
तो जो हमारा software का जो source code है, there is only one source code that our customers in Japan, in China, in Korea, in Canada, US, Brazil, Europe, all over the place, all of them use the same underlying software base.
Okay.
But then, we have applications and IVRs in 18 different languages.
Sahi.
So you can create the front end in a localized manner. And then you can define business rules.
And the localization is what you guys do or it's their job to do it?
Well, it's a bit of both.
Okay.
I mean, some clients like banks don't want to do any work. So
Okay,
we will do the
to
applications, we'll do everything for them.
Sahi.
In case of fintechs, this is part of their business to be that front end, right? So they will do the front end and they will use what we call APIs to connect to our system.
Actually, you guys have a presence in the Silicon Valley as well. So how has that panned out? How has that experience been like? Has that added more value to the business? What is your take on that?
Silicon Valley is attracts the best talent, right? It's the most competitive tech market, and it has a lot of support infrastructure also. 100 meters की जो race है, उसमें 10 seconds was such a mental barrier. No one could break the 10-second mark for years, for decades. First race, जिसके अंदर एक बंदे ने 10 का mark तोड़ा, there were 2 other people who ran under 10 seconds for the 100 meters. So when you put yourself in a very competitive place, it pushes you.
Definitely.
Right? Definitely. It's not easy. The chances of failure are higher, but it really pushes you and brings out the best in you. So I think Silicon Valley has been great for I2C. And you meet people who are very open-minded. It's the environment also. You can always make effort to read and so on, but ये कुछ चीजें osmosis से भी होती हैं. So I think it's a great place. The only problem is it's very expensive, but that's a solvable problem. You solve it, and then it's the best place in my opinion.
I2C is all about payment solutions and debit cards and all of that, credit cards. तो इसमें कह लें जो आपके client का जो database है, that is a very critical aspect to handle the privacy, the security. So how do you guys make sure of that? How do you guys deal with that?
Right. So what's important in our business, security, as you rightly pointed out, is extremely critical.
Yeah.
Second thing is availability also. If you think about different systems, you don't want your card to stop working on Sunday at 9 p.m. or there is no time. Someone could be at, trying to get petrol, someone could be taking someone to an emergency. So this is a 24/7 by 365 business that never stops. And secondly, there are thousands of people who are continuously trying to take that data because they can profit from that data tremendously.
Definitely.
On the average, we get about 3,000 malicious hits daily. Wow. In our infrastructure.
Wow.
So the way to solve this problem is, it's not one single thing. You obviously have to have awareness and training. And another important fact is most of these security breaches happen from the inside. Not that the people are corrupt, but they somehow are the loose link. So you sometimes create an external firewall, but you don't protect from the inside. So protecting from the inside starts by educating people, creating awareness. So we have a mandatory program of InfoSec that every single employee has to go through. And every year there is a refresher.
Okay.
Then there are processes that are in place. There is governance and audit in place. And obviously multiple firewalls and so on. Finally, what we have done is that if you are able to pass through all of this and get to the data, data is encrypted also. So there is, even if you get to the goal, it really isn't
nothing much you
useful
can
for
do about it.
Yeah.
That is great. Achha, given that you have a successful trail of career behind you and you're still mashallah going, इंसान सोचता है कि मैंने ये भी कर लिया, वो भी कर लिया. I'm all over the place. I have global presence. Then how do you find that motivation where you say that I still have to do more, I have to keep on going? वो motivation कहाँ से लेके आते हैं?
I think, what you want to do keeps changing also, right? So your purpose drives you. If you have a purpose, no matter what that purpose is, it'll make you get up in the morning, it'll give you direction, it'll give you energy. So I would say it's just the purpose and the mission. Then you don't need anything else. I just, this is what I like, and I get energy through it.
Given that you just mentioned COVID, how did that impact the entire situation for I2C, the operations, और फिर कैसे उसको deal किया आपने?
It was challenging for us to switch to work from home, especially given the security protocols that I talked about. So our team, worked really hard, and globally we were able to shift about 1,500 people to work from home.
Welcome back to our show. So as we were just discussing, जब हम पाकिस्तान की बात करते हैं तो जो हमारी यहाँ की tech industry है या software development की industry है, what potential do you see here?
I think Pakistan has tremendous talent, and that's why we have 1,000 plus team members here.
Okay.
And we would be doubling this number over the next 2 years. So we are looking for people, but there are a few things that are important to us, and this is part of our company culture and what we represent. One is integrity. So without integrity, there's nothing. That's an absolutely first and foremost thing. Second thing, which is extremely important for us, is what we call pride of authorship. Are you proud of what you do? Your work. You should be able to say, here's my work.
Yeah.
You know, I am proud of it. Find something in it. वो इस वजह से बहुत ज़रूरी है. We want to be the best in the world, and we're competing with the best. So we can't have people with a mindset of चल जाएगा, चलने के काबिल है. It's not about being average. You absolutely have to go beyond the average. If you want to be the leader, you can't be the follower. You can't just read a book and be a leader, by the way, because you have to chart the new path. Read the book, learn from previous experiences, but you must be able to, you know, so people who take pride in their work, that's the second thing which is important. And third, I think, is curiosity, because that question, why, how, that's super, super important.
What should be done to further, augment and elevate the tech industry in Pakistan so that eventually, it can contribute to our foreign exchange as well?
I think we should stop looking at India for once, because we are not the same. Look at the number of graduates they produce. They can do body shopping and build billion-dollar companies. We can't. We don't have that many people. We think we have a lot of people, but if you look at the number of computer science graduates that come out, it's 20 some odd, 30,000 people. So my suggestion would be that we should really move away from this project business. That is just, I don't want to be disrespectful, but if you think about it, it's a daily wage, right? I mean, you're hired to do something. And some people think there is a lot of learning when you do projects, because there's this language and that language. But if you look at the computer science curriculums in schools and colleges here, languages are only like maybe one class.
Yeah.
It's about design principles, it's about software engineering, and you learn those things when you actually develop, operate and maintain a system. आपने एक चीज़ लिख के भेज दी, अब वो बाहर वालों की problem है, you're missing out on a lot of education.
Very true.
In a SaaS environment, you have to basically manage all of this. And from a job marketability perspective also, everywhere in the world things are moving to SaaS. Everything is moving to SaaS, right? When people are looking for talent, they're looking for people with SaaS experience. So it's good for companies, for individuals to kind of start thinking in the SaaS environment. SaaS is the business model for software, at least for now.
अच्छा, आपके ख्याल से government क्या role play कर सकती है to facilitate the industry to further promote it, because आगे everything is tech, everything is getting digital. So I think it's high time that things need to get done. So what do you think about that?
I think government अगर रास्ते से निकल जाए, that's the best thing they can do. Seriously, क्योंकि आप subsidy based businesses जो है ना, वो are not sustainable. They're not competitive. अगर आपको government की help चाहिए, तो that is no business. I don't believe in government subsidy.
Okay.
लेकिन government को hindrance नहीं बनना चाहिए, right? Now we are a 24/7 by 365 business.
Okay.
We can't stop. But जब COVID आया, तो उन्होंने कहा जी कोई नहीं दफ्तर में भी नहीं आ सकता. We can't just stop operating. So having policies and procedures which allow businesses to operate successfully is important. So it's more about getting out of the business way rather than funding them and doing things of that nature. उनकी जो problems उनके लिए आप ना create करें.
Let them be.
Let them be. I think that's really the best thing government can do.
Given that you just mentioned COVID, how did that impact the entire situation for i2c, the operations, और फिर कैसे उसको deal किया आपने?
So it was challenging for us to switch to work from home, especially given the security protocols that I talked about. So our team, worked really hard, and globally we were able to shift about 1,500 people to work from home within 10 days. COVID was good for us. I think it has taught us a lot of new things.
I think
besides
COVID
business.
has been beneficial to the digital industry, to the tech industry. It gave more awareness to the common public as well. Now they're more tech savvy.
Yeah.
More than ever.
चीजें जो 10 साल से people shift नहीं हुए
करना चाह रहे थे, वो
एकदम
जबरदस्ती अब हो गया है. Which is, I think, I truly feel this is one good thing that came out of COVID. And things are more easier now. People are more tech savvy, so definitely.
And I think we'll move towards a balance, क्योंकि बहुत benefit है of the work from home environment also. But there is अब मैं इस दफ़ा 2 साल के बाद पाकिस्तान आया हूँ. We have our annual meeting where we kind of get together, talk about last year, next year, have dinner and just awards and so on. So after 2 years. And it was so good to come back and meet people also.
Yeah.
So there's tremendous value for in-person connection
and all of that.
And so
Definitely.
on. So finding the right balance between efficiency and that human connection is very important. And I think COVID ke baad kuch, people will find that balance. So.
Definitely. What is your take on dealing with competition in the industry? Especially locally, because there are not a lot of players locally. There are only a few. तो किस तरह से deal करते हैं? How do you feel that you are, on top of your game?
Our competition isn't the local industry. Local industry के साथ if हमारा कोई competition है, तो that is in talent acquisition.
Okay.
From a market perspective, I don't think we have any competitor in Pakistan as such. From a success of the business size and scale, we are doing very well. We are always focused on how can we make this the best possible environment for talent. And it's my personal goal actually now that I want i2c to make more millionaires in Pakistan than any other company in Pakistan.
That's a great
No, I'm serious.
To serve,
and what we have done is we've recently launched a stock option plan.
Okay.
And what we did was everyone in the company, whether someone is a T-boy, security staff, admin, everyone has these stock options.
Okay.
From a competition perspective, really all we are focused on is how do we create the best possible environment for young talent to come in and deliver the best they can, be part of something successful, and then be financially rewarded. एक सिर्फ financial reward के अलावा, just creating an environment where they feel good and so on is also important. So, a छोटी सी चीज़ है, we have a few things I'll just mention that we were the first ones to do. So we set up a cafe maybe 10, 12, 13 years ago. There is no limit on how much you can eat, when you can eat. It's free for all. There's no minimal contribution. You just go and eat. We have a daycare, which I think will rival the best, childcare schools here. And Montessori, you go in, they're trained teachers, the facilities are amazing. Every employee, regardless of their grade in the company, we would contribute 50%.
So you're pretty much very active with the CSR.
So if the company can improve the life of the 1,500 people, soon to be 2,500 people, each one impacting maybe 5 to 6 people in their family, that's the first mission, right? We have to make sure that these guys are a good contributor to the society, they have good life and so on. Second is going beyond that. We want to be a foundation for other foundations. There are a lot of good people who are in health, who are in education, who are in all of these single causes that they pursue. These are all good people, but they're not necessarily the best at management and administration. It's not in a bad sense, but
I get
like procurement, can their technology, their website, their donation collection, their, so many things that we can provide to them in a shared environment
That's amazing.
You know, in a non-profit way. So that's what we want to do. We want to enable some of these good people to become more efficient. Every dollar saved will go to the cause.
Life is all about ups and downs, definitely. इंसान successes देखता है, कुछ failures भी देखता है, या sometimes things don't go according to how you expected them to be. तो ऐसे किसी phase में when you are feeling stressed out or you're feeling demotivated, how do you pick up yourself again and then you keep on going? What do you do?
I think sleep does wonders. Sleeping overnight, sleep it off and start the next day differently. It really is helpful.
Yeah.
Mentally, how do you deal with this is, number one, you have to disconnect yourself from the outcome. Fear जो है ना, fear आपको बहुत paralyze कर देता है and stops you from performing at your peak.
Definitely.
So the first thing you have to do is just get rid of the fear. You know, think about worst possible outcome. Can I survive? Can I live with it? And that really helps you become fearless. You've thought of the worst and you say, यार ये भी हो गया तो कोई बात नहीं. I can survive. And then you do the best you can, right? And things change and you become a bit more, you know, things, एक छोटी सी चीज़ से you get that little hope and you keep going and so on. So
if someone wants to join i2c, generally what are your hiring procedures, or generally you as an employer, as a successful professional, what do you see in a person? कोई ऐसे personality traits या कोई educational traits क्या देखते हैं आप और सोचते हैं this person can be a part of my team?
You know, even during innovative days, we did not require a degree as such. So I personally do not value degree as something
monumental.
Yeah, that's basically on the wall or somewhere. But you have to, number one, like and be excited about what you want to do. You have to be curious. Extremely important. Why? एक different thinking जो है ना वो बहुत ज़रूरी है.
Don't you think this profession does require the technical education? वो तो required.
वो सीख लेते हैं लोग.
सीख लेते हैं.
Attitude is much harder to train.
मैं सीख सकती हूँ. अगर मैं कहूँ कि मैं आज I want to shift, it'll be a bit hard, no?
But you have to sort of figure out what are your strengths.
Okay.
You can force yourself into it. But then if this is really what you love, I bet you will be a great techie.
So you're saying that a degree is not going to do much for a person who wants to pursue a career.
Right. But obviously, होता ये है कि you can also find people who have the educational background. I'm saying that's not necessarily the only
deciding
thing
factor.
Or even a prerequisite.
Okay.
But we do, most of our graduates do come with, you know, the qualification and so on. So going back to those company values, number one, integrity. That's extremely important.
I knew it already.
No, it's extremely important because if you, आप में जब तक, you know, so the worst thing is hypocrisy. You cannot get quality out of a person who is a hypocrite. They'll always be sliding here and there. So integrity बहुत ज़रूरी है. दूसरी चीज़ क्यूरियोसिटी बहुत ज़रूरी है और तीसरी वो प्राइड जो है ना अपने काम की. So that's what I look for. And we always ask whoever applies to write an essay. We give them some sort of a topic.
That's pretty new.
Essay will give you the best insight. I had my HR do an exercise and I said, okay, we've hired so many people. Let's look at people who've turned out to be really, really our stars and A+, and see what's the common factor. Each one of them had a good essay. And good essay doesn't mean well written in English, full of grammar mistakes.
You mean the substance.
But it's the way of thinking, it's the content, right? So कोई interview में अच्छी English नहीं बोल सकता, बात नहीं कर सकता, always look beyond it. It's our job to actually try to seek and find out कि उसकी real value क्या है.
Very, very
I'm not hiring them as a politician to get on the stage and speak, right? So you have to find people who are actually, you know, meet the requirements that you have.
I think that is a very, very impressive approach to have. Now we're in the digital era and everything is getting digital, और उस लिहाज से i2c को देखते हैं आप तो future के लिए क्या vision रखते हैं?
We have a target to hit $1 billion in revenue by 2025, and we are focused on that goal. And that's a goal which is shared with everyone in the company. It's been a plan. We've been working on it step by step. So that's the goal.
वेलकम बैक टू आवर शो। यहाँ पे अक्सर ये एक कॉन्सेप्ट बन गया हुआ है कि आपकी अंग्रेज़ी जो है उस पर बहुत फोकस होता है, जबकि व्हाट यू आर सेइंग इज़ मेकिंग ऑल द सेंस, दिस इज़ हाउ इट शुड बी डेफिनेटली। अच्छा, जब हायरिंग
जिसने भी अप्लाई करना है, वी आर लुकिंग फॉर थाउजेंड्स ऑफ पीपल, करियर्स।
यस, यू आर लुकिंग टू डबल अप द नंबर, सो व्हाई नॉट पीपल शुड।
या सो i2cinc.com वेबसाइट पे जाएं और करियर्स के लिंक पे जाएं एंड प्लीज अप्लाई।
अभी आपकी सारी बातें सुन के आई एम जस्ट फीलिंग आई शुड हैव परस्यूड a career into this field and
it's never too late.
definitely. अच्छा, hiring की जैसे हम बात कर रहे हैं तो what is your take on women being part of the workforce and then women pursuing a tech career? How is that scenario looking like? Do you get female employees, like आती हैं ख़वातीन, apply करती हैं?
We have 30% plus workforce, which females, and we are 24/7. We have females who work the night shift.
अच्छा,
and I actually don't think about the male gender is only one part.
बिल्कुल,
right? जब आप में biases आ जाएं तो वो it's not just gender based, they can be other things also. So we are completely blind to color, religion, gender, disabilities. You can be whoever you are, and we want to encourage that, ताकि आप different type of thinking लेके आएं और उससे हम एक बेहतर वो कर सकें. So absolutely, I mean, and I also encourage, and you'll be happy to see if you go around seeing that they mix. It's not like girls here and boys there and so on. You're colleagues, you have to work together, you have to sit in cafe and eat together and work in that collaborative environment.
And I think that is required. We need to neutralize the environment rather than making it like a territorial thing, and that kind of, I think that leads to a lot of problems as well eventually.
And I think all the corporations in Pakistan need to do more for physically challenged people also. We don't have ramps, we don't have, we just don't think about, it's sometimes unfortunate incidents that can put you in that place, and we have to think about that also for sure.
Now we're in the digital era and everything is getting digital और tech savvy होते जा रहे हैं लोग. उस लिहाज से i2c को देखते हैं आप, तो future के लिए क्या vision रखते हैं?
Look, i2c is on a great path. We are growing tremendously. We are already the largest revenue-wise company out of Pakistan, and we are growing at triple digits. So right now the focus is we have a target to hit $1 billion in revenue by 2025, and we are focused on that goal. And that's a goal which is shared with everyone in the company. It's been a plan, we've been working on it step by step, so that's the goal.
अच्छा, मुझे बताएं कि professionally any decision particularly that you hate taking, or maybe one monumental difficult decision or something that you always have to do and you don't like doing it?
I don't feel bad about any decision. Some decisions are not so obvious, and you have to think through a lot of things and still take a chance.
How about when you're letting go someone? Is that
could be good in some cases. That can be done in a thoughtful and respectful manner.
Definitely.
Right?
Who has been your inspiration or let's say role model? कौन रहा है वो आपके लिए?
Early on, obviously my father was very inspirational for me, and for almost most sons, because you have such a close contact at an age which is very impressionable and so on. I even find Malala very inspirational. I think she is absolutely phenomenal. And in technology, obviously Steve Jobs had this drive, and he was also very passionate about just pushing things beyond the norm. And I can go on and on. There are people in every field that I am impressed by what they do.
Can inspire you, definitely. That's I think a great.
But there's no idol as such, and I think creating idols is not the right thing. There is nothing different, I guess, in my genes than all the other team members and your other audience, and I want everyone to believe that they have what it takes to be successful. right? Maybe I got a little lucky, but it's about trying. You only get lucky if you keep trying, right? The more tickets you have in the lottery, the more chances you get.
Definitely. What is your idea of happiness?
Happiness is a feeling that I seek
Bilkul.
very often, and happiness is actually built into our biology क्योंकि जो reward system है for us to go do things. आप sugar खाएं, so you get a sugar high and sugar rush. But really, I think happiness is something by design cannot be permanent.
Definitely.
So you have to understand कि happiness आएगी और जाएगी और happiness को आप छोटे-छोटे moments में seek करें.
Definitely, I think that's a very good advice. अच्छा मुझे बताएं कि गुस्सा जो है वो आपको आता है और अगर आता है then how do you manage your anger?
Yeah, I think पहले तो बहुत I was really good earlier on. As you grow older, I guess you become less patient. I tried as much as I can. I think sleeping over it is a great solution. One thing I've done all my life and is just physically very good is to have some sort of a physical activity.
How do you, given that you have a busy lifestyle, आपका काम भी 24/7 है, day and night, so how do you strike the balance of your personal life and then professional life? Family को कैसे राजी रखते हैं?
Look, I mean, I think it's not about, some people seek to be busy or they think being busy is being productive.
Yeah.
You have to differentiate between being productive and being busy.
Busy, definitely.
Right? And I also want to say sometimes people tend to, काम इतनी बुरी चीज़ नहीं है. अगर आप 18 घंटे काम कर रहे हैं और आप उसको enjoy कर रहे हैं, तो करें, ज़रूर करें. Right? There are different stages in life. I used to sleep in the office. That was my life. I really enjoyed it. It gave me energy. Maybe not so much, right? So you should do what you feel like doing. If you enjoy your work, is never really work. Balance, just do what you want to do. All of us have 24 hours. Decide. Problem ये है कि कई दफ़ा कुछ लोगों के पास financial freedom नहीं है to really decide. That's a problem. जो कि अगर आप solve कर लें किसी तरह, तो then I think it becomes easier. But
I think that's a very valid thing you rose. बिल्कुल ठीक कह रहे हैं. अच्छा मुझे बताएं, are you into reading books? And if so, any book that you would want to suggest or like just mention?
Yeah, I think books, look, I mean, it's so amazing. We think we are the first ones thinking about something or so on. You will find such good books on everything. And there's so many smart people who've lived before us. And some of them have put their ideas, on a piece of paper. So books are brilliant. So when I went to university, 18 years, बड़े formative years होते हैं. उस वक्त I read a book, Fountainhead, by Ayn Rand. And it really teaches you about self-respect and not caring about what others think. I tell you, at that age, people have a lot of social pressure and so on. I was completely oblivious to what people thought of me. That book was left an impression on me.
Life-changing for you.
Was very good. उसके अलावा एक छोटी सी light book है, Jonathan Livingston Seagull. This is the story of a seagull who's breaking away from the pack and wants to do something. It's a book, 90-100 pages. You should read it. It's beautiful, right? Very. अगर आप अपने career में it's very motivational and especially if you are against the grain, you want to do something different. Appeals to the rebels, I guess. आप business build करना चाह रहे हैं, उसके लिए just to get an understanding. There's a book called What They Don't Teach You at Harvard Business School.
Quite a reader then, huh?
I would say I like to read.
What name were you saying of the book?
What They Don't Teach You at Harvard Business School.
Okay.
Light, easy reading, but good, street smart things for someone wanting to do their business.
And wants to start something of their own.
Yeah. Good to Great. Jim Collins has, I really like him if you think about business. Books. He has Good to Great, Built to Last. These are good books.
Have you been able to travel locally? And if yes, do you have a favorite destination in Pakistan?
पाकिस्तान में मैंने पहले खासा ट्रैवल किया है. I've been to Kagan, Sawat, etc. I do like the north. Yeah, I think that's, if I want to travel, that's where I'm going to go.
And what about an international destination that you really like?
That depends on the theme. I think, so like, you know, I've done a couple of safaris in Africa, so living in the jungle is a fantastic experience. I think I like the beach. Maldives, I've been multiple times. Maldives is just a fantastic place. So बहुत सी जगह हैं, अगर आप कर सकते हैं तो travel करें. Travel से you learn a
so
lot.
Your brain opens up, you get so much awareness.
बहुत ज़्यादा.
It really changes your personality.
I would highly recommend, जो भी travel कर सकता है वो ज़रूर करे और different cultures में जाके करे, ताकि आप देखें कि दुनिया में और भी लोग सोचते हैं.
बिल्कुल. Any recent innovation that really, you know, grabbed your attention and you were like, wow, this is really clever or very smart?
I think Google search engine and its extensions, वो अगर आप truly देखें ना कि अब आपकी learning कितनी accelerate हो गई है और access to information globally कितनी ज़्यादा हो गई है, and then all the additional things that they're building around it, that is the most impactful in my mind in the recent times, because it is accelerating our learning.
You had your own journey, आपने अपनी मर्जी की field choose की, and I can gauge that you've been a person of your own. तो उस लिहाज से आपकी जो पूरी journey रही है professionally, उससे आपने क्या सीखा?
एक बात तो यह है कि there is no one path to success.
Okay.
And there is no one common place which you should call success, right? तो आपको individually ये देखना है कि मेरे लिए success क्या है? और सक्सेस को ना आप बियॉन्ड फाइनेंशियल उसके डिफ़ाइन करें. फाइनेंशियल गोल्स ज़रूर डिफ़ाइन करें, लेकिन जब आप वो अचीव कर लेंगे तो देन यू विल बी लॉस्ट इन लाइफ इफ़ दैट वाज योर ओनली सक्सेस. सो हर चीज़ के लिए ना कुछ चीज़ें होती हैं जो कि आपको करनी पड़ती हैं, राइट? सो उनको ज़रूर आप फोकस करके अचीव करें, लेकिन कुछ चीज़ें ऐसी हैं कि जो बियॉन्ड दीज बेसिक्स हैं. तो आप अपनी सक्सेस को डिफ़ाइन करें, अपने पर्पस को डिफ़ाइन करें.
I would like you to give out a message or maybe some insightful words for all the young individuals out there who are studying or who are looking out to start their careers. कोई भी motivating अल्फाज जो आप उनके साथ शेयर करना चाहें.
Each one of you have the capability. There is nothing genetic कि जो एक सक्सेसफुल आदमी को सक्सेसफुल बना रहा है. हम सब के अंदर वो कैपेबिलिटी है. आप एक अपना विजन, एक गोल सेट करें, उसके लिए आप कोशिश करें, यू विल गेट देयर. एंड इट डजंट नीड टू बी, अगर आप नहीं भी पहुंचते तो इट्स अबाउट द जर्नी रियली, इट्स नॉट अबाउट द डेस्टिनेशन. बी प्राउड ऑफ व्हाट यू डू, बी हैप्पी विद व्हाट यू डूइंग. आउटकम्स तो फिर यू नो happen or not happen, it's okay.
You don't have control on them. Definitely. Thank you so much. I had a great time. I learned a lot out of this conversation, and I'm sure all the people watching would feel the same. So thank you so much.
Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you very much.
So this was a conversation with Mr. Amir Wain, a completely inspiring conversation where we got to know about his very innovative venture i2c, which is providing services all over the world. For more such conversations, keep on watching our show Meet the CEO, only on Discover Pakistan.